For more insight on the crisis in Nepal, Mahendra Lawoti, Professor of Political Science at Western Michigan University, joins us live from Kathmandu. Professor, thank you so much for making the time to talk to us. So right now, we know the army is patrolling the streets. They're, I guess, clearing up the streets as well. We know the violence has died down. So what next for Nepal, do you think?
I think they are trying to form a government that will hold the elections within the next year. So as of now, that is the situation. And the military is negotiating with the protesters, the Gen Z protesters.
We know the military, Professor, is rarely mobilized in Nepal, and they only appeared when the police failed to control the situation. Is it possible that the army or the military somehow could play a role in forming the next government, whether on an interim basis or otherwise?
Yes, in fact, it is playing an active role. Nepal still has the president, and instead of the protesters negotiating with the president, the army chief has taken the initiatives to discuss with the protesters. And media reports say that beyond what the protesters have pushed for the prime minister, the new prime ministership, the army chief has also talked with other people who are not aligned with the protest and so forth.
Okay, so one political figure gaining traction among the youth is former Chief Justice Sushila Karki. Why does she hold such appeal for them? And do you think she's able to bring calm to the country so desperately needs right now?
One of the reasons Sushila Karki, the former Chief Justice, has been, liked by the protesters is she has an image of being more independent. This is the case in the context that people believe, and I think rightly so, the justices have been, the major political parties have appointed justices based on their party and loyalty to the leaders. So many of the justices are not considered independent. And one of the buildings that was torched down by the protesters was the Supreme Court. And I think that also tells that the people are also not happy with the court system also. And Sushila Karki has an image of not, asserting herself from the political leadership, being more independent and so on, and being more clean than other justices.
Professor, the Generation Zs who initiated the protest say their cause, over the 2 days of violence was hijacked. It happened because it was hijacked by opportunists. And they are the ones who are behind the destruction, these opportunists. Is it clear who these groups might be? Is there some historical precedence? We know that, there have been ethnic movements before. There's been the Maoist insurgency, and there's been alleged interference from India and China as well.
Yeah, I think the Gen Z, when the prime minister resigned, they kind of called off the protest, but the protest from the morning continued. And I was on the September 8th and 9th, I went to the streets briefly, and the people on the second day were different from the people. On the first day, there was the Gen Z, the high school kids in uniforms, kids speaking in English, and well-off people and so forth. But on the second day, you could see more widespread participation, common people on the streets. And there could have been, some active groups that wanted to disrupt the protest and so forth. But my own sense is common people who were frustrated with the state, common people who were frustrated with the police force, with the court systems, with the politicians, and so on. I think they also they were showing off their frustrations. So I think the protests may have been some other factions, some other political groups may have infiltrated the politics, But my own feeling is it was the reflection of frustration of common people who have been, kind of been in the receiving end of the police, the state, the court systems, and so on. Because there is so much widespread corruption in Nepal, the common people are extracted with bribes and so on in every sphere of their lives and so on. And probably many of them are just, venting their anger when they got their chance.
Sure, Professor. So demonstrators are not just calling for new elections within 6 to 12 months, but they're also rewriting constitution with strong youth involvement. Just how significant is that demand? And realistically, what are the chances that the political establishment will accept them?
I think writing a new constitution was not and probably is not the major demand of the Gen Z movement. But within the Gen Z, the common factors beyond being under 28, there are different factions. There are the royalists, there are the status quoists, there are the people who want to move forward progressively and so on. And my sense is, I'm not 100% sure, but my sense is it is the royalists who are among the Gen Z, and I have been told that it's not a big faction, but they are assertive, who wants to have a new constitution with the Hindu kingdom declared, probably the place for the monarchy who had been kicked out, and so forth.
Okay,
so it's not a major, I don't think it's a demand of the major group.
Okay, great. Professor, and looking beyond the immediate crisis in the country, what kind of leadership or deeper structural reforms does your country need mostly to break out of the cycle of mistrust and unrest?
I think the major issue in Nepal, and that kind of brought the Gen Z on the streets, and the widespread support to the Gen Z movement, was the widespread corruption in Nepal. You see corruption everywhere, not only everywhere. The perception is that whoever can get a bribe or whoever can engage in corruption, they do without shame, that they engage in those kind of things because they can. So it is very open type of corrupt environment in Nepal. So I think that has to be brought under control. Otherwise, people will suffer and the anger will be there. There are many other issues, but I think the immediate issue that led to this widespread protest and to the widespread support to the movement is the widespread corruption that is prevalent in Nepal.
Okay, Professor, thank you very much for your time. Mahendra Lawoti, Professor of Political Science at Western Michigan University. Thank you for joining us.